What's on, guys? Cuz Crypto here with another video. In today's video I want to talk about Kaspa and do a bit of a market update on it and just kind of get people to understand it a little bit more just on a very basic level. So currently Kaspa is number 37 in the cryptocurrency space, and it's trading at 10.45 cents currently, and its market cap is a total of 2.74 billion. Currently trading under 3 billion, so for me at the minute I feel is a very good price. Not financial advice, any of this what I'm saying here, but for me is a great sort of buying opportunity because we're kind of, like we'll see in a minute, at levels of support. Currently trading at $51 million in 24 hours. And again, as you can see, guys, as we'll show on here, Kaspa is currently 91% mined, just over 91%, so 8.5% is left. But again, we'll go through all that in a minute. So let's look at the charts. So Kaspa currently, this is on the 4 hourly, so each candle is 4 hours. Let's go zoom, there we go. So since the Bitcoin high on Friday, at 111,800, like every other cryptocurrency at the minute, we've basically had a little bit of a sell-off for most. Not a significant one, but again, Kaspa is down about 13.5%. Again, this is totally normal, guys. It's just a bit of a correction for not just Bitcoin, not just, the bigger, but all the other cryptocurrencies as well. So there's a bit of a sell-off. But again, this doesn't mean that, we're going to keep selling off to the point where what we've seen at the tariffs. I mean, if we go back from where we were in the tariffs, where was that? About here, wasn't it? It wasn't there, it was down here. Gosh, there we go. So 7th of April. So from there, all the way up to the high, you're looking at 139, and then where we are currently, even still, we're up 90% since that low of the tariffs of about 5.5 cents. So, looking at Kaspa today, we're holding well at that 10.5 cent range. I see that as level of support. At the minute, I see the just coming up to 12 cent kind of level as a bit of resistance. Obviously, we peaked for it for a day and a couple of days after that. But whether then we can get past the 13 cents, I think the 13 cents is not really much resistance there or even support throughout the whole of Kaspa's kind of chart life. But I reckon we could push in on up to like 15 cents once we break through that 12 and a bit cent kind of range. And then currently as well, if we just look at the RSI as well, so where are we to here? There we go. So RSI, again, we're looking, you look around the 37 range, so we're a bit oversold at the minute. We're, if we're level at 50, we're coming into that oversold territory. So if we do drop another bit, so Bitcoin, let's look at Bitcoin a minute, and looking at Bitcoin, like I said, Kaspa from Bitcoin's all-time high is down approximately 13.5%. Bitcoin is to the low at about 4.5%. So again, less volatility. But let's say if Bitcoin was to drop back down to 100k because of the liquidations, etc., where are we to? So there. So you're looking at about just shy of 10%. So Kaspa being 13% now and drop, and Bitcoin being 4%, you're looking at probably about Kaspa, if Bitcoin does drop about 10%, Kaspa could drop around between the 25 to 30% possibly. And if Kaspa does drop down that low from this kind of this peak here, we could be looking at around, I'd say about the 9 cent range, yeah. So you're looking at about 25% pullback. Again, we've got a bit of a level of supports here. And resistance in previous as well. So looking quite good for Kaspa. And again, Kaspa is only its best tier listing at the minute is currently cracking, but hasn't got a tier 1 listing on Coinbase or Binance. So for the amount of flow of Kaspa going through it and volume, it's the fact that we don't have as much volume from those tier 1 listings is fantastic for the project because it's holding up really well and the community is brilliant. So if we just look into here as well, so obviously like we said, we're at those 10 blocks per second now, which we'll go through in a moment, just to give guys a quick kind of explanation of what's going on there. So Crescendo Hard Fork is active. That is great to see, like again, from the start of the month, and it is working. So like I said, it's been mined, 91.36% has been mined. Another 8.5% is being ready to is only available to be mined. And the amount of mining availability has pretty much yearly for Kaspa on average, but the actual amount gradually decreases monthly. Like Bitcoin is halving is every 4 years, Kaspa's every 1 year. Because of this, like Bitcoin, it has that Nakamoto kind of initiative where it wants to become it's a proof of work cryptocurrency, and so as we can see here, proof of work cryptocurrency, and it's using miners to obviously obtain the Kaspa coin itself. So once fully mined, there will only be, if we go back to CoinMarketCap, I think it's 28.7 billion. 28.7 billion Kaspa in the whole of its supply. That could be, and currently we have 26.2 billion, like we said. So that is about 91.3% of that. So again, not much left to mine for Kaspa, but once it's all mined, that's all the amount of Kaspa that will be in supply. So like Bitcoin has 21 million, Kaspa has Bitcoin will eventually have 21 million, Kaspa will eventually have 28.7 billion. Because of this, like our current money system, where we use fiat currencies like the US dollar, UK pound, all these other things, that can be reprinted and reprinted. So let's say you hold £10,000 worth of money in 2020. Averagely, you'll be governments print averagely about about £3 million per day. Let's say, for example, well, that's going to deflate. That's going to make that cryptocurrency that fiat currency inflationary. So that currency is going to lose value, and going to basically, over time, if the next 10-15 years, you look at what the actual value of it, that £10,000 will be, it will significantly reduce, like massively. So that's why for myself, not again any financial advice in this video, but what I do is I'll hold assets where you have stores of value and are able to have a deflationary asset. So with Kaspa, just to go off on there, Kaspa is using the block DAG protocol, so the block DAG technology. With this, basically, Kaspa, like I said, is running those 10 blocks per second. So with that 10 blocks per second, going from 1 block to 10 blocks, so in 1 block per second, when before the Crescendo hard fork was put onto the main net, because it was on a test net from January, they wanted to test it through transactions and make sure it was scalable. Kaspa now on the mainnet has 10 blocks per second. So each Kaspa block holds about 300 to 400 transactions, and because there's 10 blocks per second, you're looking at 3,000 to 4,000 transactions per second. So that is fantastic to see. Whereas, for example, if we go back, so Bitcoin, again, like this Nakamoto consensus and that proof of work kind of value, allowing it to be decentralized, but Bitcoin, it was made in 2009. So the technology then on the blockchain network and all this was a lot slower, less scalable, obviously secure, but we don't have the scalability or the speed. So with that, Bitcoin can only do 3 to 7 transactions per second, whereas Kaspa can do 3,000 to 4,000 transactions per second, and has a similar consensus to Bitcoin as such. But again, because it's block DAG, you've got multiple blocks on top of each other that can be used at the same time. So in a blockchain, you've got one block that has to be filled, and then it's added to the blockchain, and then you can have another block appears, you fill that with loads of transactions, and that gets added to the blockchain. It's a lot slower than being able to have loads of blocks on top of each other. They all can be filled at the same time, and then they can be added to the block DAG network. So that's kind of the concept of what Kaspa is doing here. And the idea that people say, again, it's probably, if you're in the cryptocurrency space for long enough, you understand that Kaspa it solves the blockchain trilemma. So solving the trilemma is basically traditional cryptocurrencies suffer from security, scalability, and decentralization. Whereas because Kaspa's proof of work, there's no pre-sale to any sellers, so no one can just buy the coin before it's been announced or anything like that. So it's fair trade for all. And again, its security and scalability, like we've just mentioned, is very improved. So basically, the cryptocurrency supports 51% security, meaning that all the miners and nodes within that network, so within the Kaspa block DAG in the whole network, 51% have to approve, but there are thousands. So if you yourself eventually, because Kaspa is not as utilized by a lot of society at the minute, as more and more people get into it, there'll be more and more users. So that 51%, there'll be more people having to approve certain transactions. And if anything is seen as dishonest behavior in the actual network, so a lot of people will pick up on that, and that transaction will not be processed, because they'll notice that if a hacker comes in and tries, changes the encryption on a certain block or anything like that to try and get more Kaspa than they actually have, network nodes and people on these nodes will see that, and the transaction will fail. So that's where that security does come in. So again, Kaspa, fantastic. And just looking at some stuff here, so this is going back 2 days ago now, this post, but quite an interesting one where Kaspa, again, around a $3 billion market cap at that point. Again, we've sold off a little bit, but at this point we have internet computer, render, and all this. Again, I hold some internet computer, but I hold about 30,000 Kaspa, to be fair, I'll be honest to you. And that's how much I believe in the project. I mean, I think it's brilliant. But again, volume just shy of 100 million. Obviously, ICP as well, under 76 million. But again, all these are on Coinbase, Binance, and Kaspa does not have that yet. So once those tier one listings come, I feel Kaspa will significantly benefit from that. But yeah, guys, that's me today. Just look, again, I really think this project could take off. It's 3 billion, just shy, sorry, a 3 billion market cap at the minute. Doesn't have smart contracts at the minute, but again, we don't know when that's going to be happening. They've got other Igor kind of contracts as well, partnerships as well. So it looks good for Kaspa at the minute. It's just about whether it starts to take off a bit more and really come in. And last thing I just want to look at here is the flow. So on the 24 hours, Kaspa is one of the ones that are up. Only it's 250,000, but it's up mostly on, again, only on the day it's down $3,000 again of outflows. But on the daily, sorry, so on the last 5 minutes, not much, but on the daily we're up 250,000, which for some cryptocurrencies that are not stable coins, it's not really happening. They're all pretty much red, so Kaspa's not doing too bad. But that's me today, guys. Again, I look after my cryptocurrency in a Tangent wallet. Not sponsored by them, I just hold it there because I don't hold mine on exchanges, just because I like to own it and just take care of my own kind of cryptocurrency. But I hope you have a good day, guys. Have a lovely Sunday and have a good one.